Aber das ist kurz die Vorschau. Jetzt nochmal für alle. Also, wir schauen jetzt hier gerade, oder wir schauen jetzt gleich, 18 Uhr geht's los, eine Announcement-Show von Paradox und Triumph Studios. Es geht nicht um die Paradox Development Spiele. Es wird nicht um Stellaris gehen oder Hearts of Iron oder Crusader Kings oder Victoria. Das gesamte dieser Art von Spiele, darum geht es nicht, sondern um vermutlich ein neues Spiel, an dem Triumph Studios arbeitet. Ein holländischer Entwickler, Paradox ist nur der Publisher. Die sind bekannt geworden durch die Age of Wonders Reihe. Da gibt es Teil 1 bis 3, das ist ein Fantasy-Teil. Und zuletzt rausgekommen Age of Wonders Planetfall, da haben sie das so ein bisschen in die Sci-Fi-Richtung gedreht. Das Ganze ist rundenbasierter 4X, sowas wie Civilization bloß in der Fantasy-Welt, mit Städte aufbauen, mit Einheiten bewegen, Kämpfe, rundenbasiert. Das Ganze gibt es, wie gesagt, mit Planetfall auch in der Sci-Fi-Planetenwelt. Und nun ist die spannende Frage, wird die Fantasy-Reihe fortgesetzt, wird die Planetfall-Reihe fortgesetzt, gibt es eine ganz neue IP von Age of Wonders oder machen sie was komplett anderes? Vielleicht was Historisches oder so. Das ist spannend und vor allem, wenn sie hier schon so einen Stream machen, wo sie vermutlich nur ein Spiel vorstellen, gehe ich da mal davon aus, dass sie auch ein bisschen mehr zeigen werden und nicht nur irgendwie ein Announcement-Trailer oder sowas. Holländische Pünktlichkeit. Warte mal, geht's jetzt los?
Hi, I'm Knorr, and this is the announcement show from Paradox Interactive and Triumph Studios, where we are going to reveal what the next game from Triumph is. Now, normally, at an announcement show like this, we'd spend a lot of time hinting and teasing about what the game might be, and you'd sit here for a really long time not knowing. But we're not going to do that this time. Instead, we're going to play a trailer.
Na, da wissen wir gleich Bescheid. Okay, das sieht zumindest nicht nach Sci-Fi aus. Fantasy oder History? Fantasy. Fantasy. Wow! Da ist es. Oh, 2. Mai.
Leonard, Jordi, welcome to our Stage of Wonders. It's finally here, and it's finally time to talk about it. But before we do, now, Leonard, 25 years ago, when kind of this journey started,
Leonard kenne ich.
Is this where you expected to end up?
You mean as a middle-aged man dressed up as a wizard?
Exactly, that's exactly what I mean.
I'm loving it. It's fantastic.
Jordi, Age of Wonders 4, how long has the team been working on it?
Concepting started back after the first DLC for Planetfall, so that's November 2019, so about 3.5 years at this point. And we're very excited to finally be able to show it off.
We should, and we are, going to talk about it, but before we get into the nitty-gritty of Age of Wonders 4, if someone's watching that isn't necessarily 100% up-to-date with the Age of Wonders series, what is it?
Wir sind alle up to date.
Give me the elevator pitch.
All right. So, Age of Wonders is a fantasy strategy series where you build an empire, fight tactical battles, and the core experience is centered about you, the ruler. Sort of you rule a fantasy empire as a sort of role-playing experience. And we've really taken that central aspect to the next level in this game. You can create your own faction, your own race. Anything goes from Toadman to Ratman. And by researching tomes of magic, I think we have 50.
We have over 54 at this point, and they come in all kinds of flavors. Tome of Cryomancy, Tome of Pyromancy, Subjugation,
Teleportation,
Vigor.
Also 50 spells, meinte er.
Yeah, so if you want to create a race that just wants to get out of here, you focus on teleportation and then you're done.
Yeah, but the key thing is that you don't lock yourself into a pre-made faction to start, but you can actually evolve during play and adapt to situations, the type of enemies that you encounter, the terrain that you encounter, the type of victory condition that you pursue. So there's a lot of flexibility and molding as you go, and it's an entirely different experience.
And as I'm sure everyone can tell, we could sit here.
Also für alle, die das nicht kennen, stellt euch Civilization mit Fantasy und Rundenkämpfen vor.
We're gonna sit here and show you Age of Wonders 4. So how about we jump into the game and I'll let you guys tell us what we're seeing.
All right, let's go.
I have been told that this is the Mage Haven. Leonard, what's the Mage Haven?
Mage Haven is the title screen. It's
Okay,
the,
thanks.
It's the place between worlds where the wizards converge and plan their invasions to the various worlds that you can.
Nicht Total War, weil es keine
But
Echtzeitschlachten
from here
gibt.
we are going to create a new game. So you can choose one of the story realms, pre-made challenge scenarios, or you can create a new one. So let's go in and do that.
New stuff.
Yeah, so there's lots of things you can customize. Of course, the number of players, the size, and whatnot. But you can also add traits to these worlds to make them, more unique and sort of like to tell a story about the thing that you're playing. Some of them are very advanced, but let's just pick Highlands for now and go in. Here we have a list of rulers. You can pick a pre-made one. For example, we have very cool cat people. We have more traditional human feudal lords. There is toads. Yes. We've got rat people, and so on. But of course, creating your own faction is the coolest.
And it's
krass.
coolest and it's
Sehr geil.
the newest,
It's
right?
the newest.
This
Yes.
is not something that has been in Age of Wonders before.
No, you can.
Okay, es
actually
wird
create
sandboxiger,
your
was ich
starting
sehr, sehr,
base
sehr gut finde.
in this game. So you pick by choosing your form first.
Yes, your form is the physical shape that your faction takes. And we have many different forms, several coming from our earlier entries. As we saw, we have the Tigrans, we have toads, rats, but we also have the elves, the humans.
The
and
orcs.
We have the orcs. And besides the form, it also defines certain physical attributes about your race. In this case, orcs, they are strong and they're ferocious.
But we could, if we wanted to, swap these for whatever else trait we want
Yes, if
in
you
that
want,
same slot.
if you want orcs that are extra hungry, you can do that.
Extra hungry orcs.
Swarming orcs and whatnot. But let's go for these guys. Right. So next step is culture. Culture defines their starting units, the starting buildings, and the starting city. It's really their origin. So how do you find them when they are just crawling around their place before you invade as your wizard king? Yeah. So we can have feudal orcs, we can have barbarian orcs, industrious orcs, mystic orcs.
Ja,
But
das ist
as
sehr
we are
gut.
going a bit tropey, we're going to use.
Das geht schon in die
barbarians
Richtung, die ich
now.
mir vorgestellt hatte für das Paradox-Spiel.
Barbarian orcs. Classic.
Yeah, industrious orcs could work really well too. We have here a next step, which are the society traits. So there's a whole bunch of them, and they basically allow you to tweak your culture further by adding additional ones.
Now, Jordi, I noticed on the previous page and on this page as well that all of these picks have icons, affinity icons, on the side. Can you talk a bit about what they are?
Yes, so like you said, they are the affinities. These are cosmic forces that basically define how your empire further evolves. It ties into the empire development, but it also makes it easy to spot when you meet another ruler, another faction, because it kind of tells you what you can expect from these opponents.
So what are we picking tonight?
We're picking Ruthless.
Something ruthless.
Ruthless Raiders.
Yeah.
So this affects a part of their economy, like they loot from the battlefield, food and draft. So basically, you can see that they scavenge as they go across the place. So highly mobile race. It's a good match for this trait. It will also affect their alignment, and we can also pick ritual cannibals, which allows them to eat enemies and themselves.
Yeah. So we're ritual cannibals and we're ruthless raiders, or rather, our people are, because
We can of course uplift them.
yes, this is true.
During
Da macht
play,
man
this
sich
is how we
direkt beliebt
start.
bei den
This is how we start.
Right. So next step.
So we're on the tome page. We talked about tomes previously, that there's 54 of them, meaning a lot. That's a big number. And now we get to pick just one, right? You get... Everyone gets one.
At the start of the game, you
Wie-
pick a
warte
low
mal.
tier, or like tier 1 tome.
Es gibt
That-
keine
that's also
50
your
Spells, sondern es gibt 50
contains a number of
Spellbooks.
spells.
Ach du Scheiße.
Spells can be unit enchantments, world spells, summons,
Summons, combat spells.
combat spells as well. Yeah. So yeah, I sort of like drawn to cryomancy because we're in Stockholm and it's was snow outside.
Yeah, and people are like, it's cold. It's just below freezing, so it's t-shirt weather. It's
Like,
not very cold at all, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But this is essentially your, for to take a gameplay term, right? This is part of a tech tree in a sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're cold orcs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
so
go.
we're building up. We're sort of like spreading our affinities into chaos, shadow, and nature at this point. So 3 out of 6. And then next step, we'll be choosing what sort of ruler we are. What is our origin? So you can start off as a hero of the people, a champion who has good relations with the cities around them because they are from that world.
Yeah.
They have more experience and they have some economic bonuses. Or we can pick a returning wizard king. And they are less popular with the people because they see their people more as minions to have their own imperialistic ideals. But yeah, they make awesome spellcasters, and you don't need to be evil. You can be evil, but yeah, let's pick one of those.
Let's pick a wizard king.
Yeah.
Meine Güte.
All right. So here we get to define our wizard king. Oh, look, our wizard king is a bit.
Die gehen genau in die richtige Richtung.
There's
Mehr
lots of things
Setbox.
here you can change.
Finde ich super
You can
gut.
of course randomize your people. You can be of a different race than your minions.
If you're a wizard king, can you be that if you're a champion as well?
No, you were always of the people. So here we go, and yeah, let's build a.
Let's build something. I want to see something from a previous entry. Do we have any ice wizards or ice witches?
I think we definitely do.
Yes.
Arctica.
Arctica.
Let's go. Let's build Arctica,
All right. So
the North Star.
yeah, we have like a huge amount of sliders to change the outfits. We have. Let's maybe start off with this big helmet because that sort of obscures her. Oh well, look, broken helmet.
Oh
That
mein
looks
Gott,
scary.
das ist ja der Traum.
Well, look,
Right.
and Arctica is so lovely generally. It's
Yeah.
not at all scary.
Yeah. So we got lots of outfits. Maybe this is a bit cold.
No, it's fine. But
muss-
this is all.
ich
This
muss-
is just the
Ich
like.
muss direkt an Maurice denken, wie er seinen, keine Ahnung, seinen Dunkelelfen, Imperator, Magier
There's
baut.
no gameplay implications of what we're picking
Well,
on these.
you
like,
can choose your starting weapon, which affects the look a little bit, but of course you're very quick you're able to switch this out and evolve your personal skills, your personal fighting skills of your ruler quickly during the game.
and I think we're going to be stuck here forever. So let's just assume that we have a save of Arctica available so that we can keep on going. Because otherwise, Leonard, you wouldn't leave this screen. The character and the faction that we've created is the starting point, right? But you guys have been talking a bit about tomes, about evolution of the faction and your leader as the game progresses. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, correct. So the thing is, with an empire builder 4X game set in a fantasy setting, there's always this notion of factions being a bit static. So what we did with this game is looked into ways of how to evolve that faction further. So maybe you see it as in like a sci-fi game. So you keep on adding tomes as you play that develop your people, so you can actually transform them physically, affecting their combat abilities, the type of buildings that you can build in your domains, the type of spell that you use in battle or on the world map. So it's really about agency. We have a new event system where it reacts to the choices that you make. So if you are an evil player, you might get different events than when you're a good player, and these events can come from your own population, from independent cities, or from encounters on the map. And these all tie various systems together. For example, diplomacies, heroes.
Sie haben ganz offensichtlich
relations with
von Paradox
various
selbst
people on
sehr
the
viel
map,
sich abgeguckt.
to craft a personal narrative.
Once again, I'm going to have to stop you because I feel like whenever I ask something, we can talk about it for ages and ages and ages of wonder. But the pretend earpiece I have in my ear says that we should get back into gameplay.
All right, so we've descended here on this town in this nice-looking highlands landscape. We can now like rotate across the map, zoom in really
So
close.
hilly.
Yeah,
Oh
and
mein
of course,
Gott,
like,
das
zoom
sieht ja auch
in
noch
all
richtig
the
gut
way.
aus.
So here we are at the start. So we have our starting city. It's an orc town, a cannibal orc town. We've named them cannibal orcs. Here we have, for example, some cool-looking war shaman who's got
Corpse eating! We
Yes.
picked that.
Yep, we picked that. And yeah, let's go look around. What do we have around us? We have some nodes which are protected by some independent guards. We have some nodes that are just ready for the taking. Our city will grow from this point on. But let's go
cool.
out, venture forth and clear out this
Gibt so ein dynamisches
small group
Wachstum?
of
Obwohl, das habe ich auch Hexfelder gesehen.
spirits.
They're
Whenever you go into battle, you get a quick preview. You can choose to fight manually or automatic, as this is going to be quite an inconsequential fight. I'll just go and pick their loot.
let's auto-combat
yeah,
until
I
we...
think
Chat, ich glaube auch nicht, dass es live ist, aber es ist egal.
might have, joined me from
Es ist
the
gut gemacht.
SVC to this location.
We
and,
did it.
We cleared them. So we got some loot. So this is some extra loot that we got from destroying those enemies. As we are raiders, we are ruthless raiders, and we got some a pickup.
Yep. We got gold, and indeed from the Ruthless Raiders, we got the food and the draft.
Exactly. So we, from this point on, we can decide to use our scout and
I see something glimmering over there.
in the distance. Yeah. Let's move these guys over here.
Der Fog of War sieht aber richtig gut aus, Leute.
Some mana crystals.
Ach, schaut mal, das sind
Get a
so
feel for the lay of the land. Let's
Regionen.
move one of our Cinderers south.
Well, is there anything else we need to do on turn 1?
Yeah, well,
Yes,
we need
have
to
a couple
move.
of things.
A couple of things that we need to do. Look, we have encountered a independent city who are ruled by Chieftain Durlock, Skull Splitter. So these three cities you can enter into negotiations. Let's see what we have here. So this is their town. This is our town, so quite close. And they are actually of the same race because they are sort of this spin-off.
So, in theory, they should
be friendly.
be friendly.
Yeah. So they have we have some overlapping affinities, of course, and they are moderately happy with them. We can give them one of our whispering stones, which are like ways to communicate in this game and manipulate our subjects. So this sets off the negotiations with them, and over time we will grow and form cooperation and vassalage.
Also ein freies Stadtmodell, wo man Beziehungen verbessern kann, Boni zu
The
bekommen.
faster it goes. There's also something interesting here. This is the Forest of Woe, which is what we call an ancient wonder.
Oh, das sieht cool aus.
Sites they contain, loot, adventures, but yeah, we'll move into that direction to see what it holds, what it has in store for us. So we've moved our troops. One of the first things that we'll do is set arcane research.
Yes. So we have 3 skills that we can pick from. And these are defined by the tomes that we have access to. These are from the Cryomancy, the Lesser Snow Spirit, the Blizzard, but also from our culture, we have the Warrior Mark.
Okay.
And of course, what we pick will get researched over the next few turns.
Yeah, so we can see the turn counter below is how many turns it's going to take.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you don't like this outcome, we can shuffle and we can they will draw a new hand.
Ist halt so ein, ich sag mal, stellares Forschungssystem, wo du nochmal würfeln kannst.
And we have some productions to set. So we have 2 queues in the game, one for our buildings and one for our units.
Oh, das ist gut. Das mag
So
ich.
maybe we should just because we're going to be quite offensive. So maybe we should first invest in some units because actually more units means more income
Better
as well.
results.
So let's spend that and let's hold off building a structure for now. And that ends turn
No,
1.
I think we still have a spell that we can cast.
All right, yeah, let's start casting right away. Frostblade. This is a unit enchantment, which basically enchants every unit of a particular type.
Yes.
It will take 2 turns, so we're going to start casting that right now, and it will trigger in 2 turns when we'll see the effect of it. All right, so I think that's it.
That does indeed wrap up what we wanted to do.
All right, so there we go. Turn 2. So we have our independents moving, enemies moving, and the second day dawn. So we go in and continue our exploration efforts. So this is our scout units. Scouts, they can see further. It can also be buffs with their own class of spells. And what do we have here? This is... Ooh, Fire Giant.
Oh God.
Inferno Hounds. I mean, this actually looks like a really good spot. We have a magic material, which are like special resources that contain good bonuses. This one actually improves our Whispering Stone allegiance. So if we assign a Whispering Stone to a independent city, we will gain more allegiance with them. So this is actually a really good spot to claim. But yeah, we will need to kick these guys off their node.
Luckily, they do not seem intimidating at all.
No, so we should prepare.
It should be fine. Take him with a scout.
All right, so we're gonna go out and move these.
Okay, natürlich, das Grundprinzip der Reihe ist beibehalten worden, ist
We
klar.
have a warning domain, which is a brigand camp, and they are still sleeping. It's hidden here. It's just across the. Just in the fog.
Also so eine Art
Our
Barbarencamp.
spawners in Age of 4, they project domain, which can also overlap with your own domain. And if that happens, it will cause all sorts of problems. So we need to stop them before they grow too big. They will send out raiding parties. Yeah, that's for a second goal, in addition to acquiring that location there. And then we have our main group of Arctica, our Wizard King, who of course is heroic, meaning that she can join in fights herself.
So she will actually show up as a unit on the battlefield.
Yes. Yeah. So here we have to force the well. Oh, it's still one turn away, so we're able to reach that next one. Maybe we should build a storehouse.
That I tend to go for a workshop because more production means that things get
More
built faster.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go for the workshop. We'll take 7 turns to build.
Yeah, and these two queues are independent of each other, so having stuff in both queues doesn't actually negatively impact the other queue.
No. Only they will eat into gold.
Sehr
So
angenehm,
you
ja.
need to make choices. Yeah.
It's also why we have 2 different production kinds of incomes. We have production and you have draft, which is used for your units.
All right. So let's not wake these guys up and move out of their territory. Yep. Okay. So we actually finished casting Frostblades. So here we are in the interior of our palace, and we can start our casting process. So we're going to affect these units, and boom, there we go, Frostblades, which attach ice damage to our weapons, and they start glowing.
They now have snowballs.
Snowballs, you can turn snowballs. Yeah. All right, so these can stay here for a turn. We have our leader who's about to investigate this ruin here, the Fortress of Woe. Let's explore. So each of these ancient wonders, they have an event picked, and they change per type.
Cool.
So here we have a
Sehr stimmungsvoll.
knight. Never trust knights. Holding captives.
Yeah.
And they are up for trading those captives. So we have a bunch of choices. We can attack the captors, or we can just buy the captives off them. But yeah, we split up our stack.
Yeah. As we can see, it's
we get a little
battle.
bit of an estimate here, which this looks like a very dangerous battle.
Yeah.
So I think we have to cower out a little bit and just buy them.
I mean, we have the money.
Yeah.
525.
Yeah, just about. So let's do that and see where that takes
Sie
us.
wollen uns keinen Kampf zeigen.
Ta-da! All right, here we see the aftermath. So the captives actually came from that village that we just encountered. And that's fantastic, because it gives us a bunch of options. We can
Okay,
release
das ist wirklich cool.
and get a very high relation boost. And this will sway them and increase the rate at which they gain allegiance. So this would be a good option if we choose the diplomatic paths, which we do. These are our brothers. And we can then also choose an evil faction by keeping these people for ourselves. Not send them back to that town. But, hey, you live with us now. But we're nice people. Let's just send them home, and we'll.
Okay, ich muss sagen, das finde ich richtig cool, dass diese Encounters nicht nur einfach so Schlacht gewinnen und dann hat man irgendwie ein bisschen Gold oder Loot, sondern dass das verknüpft ist mit Diplomatie, mit anderen Völkern. Sehr geil.
3 turns for Pact of Cooperation.
All right, so now we've cleared this node. It has a dotted line. It means that it's not actually attached to one of our provinces. It will give a big income bonus to and even increase fortification health depending on the number of quarries. So this is a very important sort of wonder that we can attach to cities. As our cities grow, and maybe we'll acquire this one, we can choose to either attach it to this city or we can choose to attach it to this city to have the bonus. But we need to grow towards it if that's our plan. But we're done here for now, and we are gonna be
So ein bisschen wie bei Humankind, dass man die Sektoren unterschiedlich zuordnen kann.
some giants ass actually.
Let's timber.
Let's timber. All right, and we are at day 6. We're getting closer to this giant here, and we are able to cast the elemental, and we can cast it right on top of our stack. So we have a full stack of 6 units now. But it's time for battle.
Think so.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna go in, and actually, I think you are gonna play.
It's immer noch risky.
Manual combat, and it's a risky battle.
It's nothing we can't handle.
But this gentleman here has clocked the most hours on Age of Wonders 4 in the entire world, so should be in good hands.
Okay, Jordy, let's see what you can do.
All right, so we've made our way into manual combat, and let's get a closer look at the field. So what we have here is our enemies on the iron node that they were just occupying. And as you can see, they're moving into a choke point here. And we're gonna see if we can abuse that. So I'm first gonna move my units forward, and each unit has a specific role, and these roles are very visible on their unit banner by the little icons. So I'm just gonna move my units into position a bit, and then we're gonna talk for a little bit about what they do. So we have this shield unit, which has as a defense mode, it projects an aura around itself, and that aura provides additional defense to any unit in there. The same is done by the support unit, which has a defense mode that does this for resistance. So by basically setting these up together, we create a nice little place for our units to be safe from any incoming damage. And we're just gonna end the turn here, and we're gonna watch what the enemies are doing.
Okay, die sind sehr langsam.
So as expected, they're moving into the choke point. Now, first I'm gonna start off casting a spell. This is Ice Coffin, and it has a chance to freeze units. And the reason why I want to do this is because this is a ranged unit, and ranged units are a pain when they can attack from a distance.
90%
So by
Chance.
freezing it, we're just essentially trying to lock it down and give us an extra turn of managing damage. So
That seems like it worked out great.
luckily it did. So I'm gonna take this warrior, and it has a special ability, Shield Bash, which is gonna, if it triggers, it's gonna stun the giant, basically locking it down for a turn. And if it doesn't, it's gonna retaliate.
Resisted.
And it didn't, so now we're gonna take a lot of damage.
Massive damage. Ow.
Well, that wasn't great, but it's not too bad.
Famous last words.
Famous last words. Gonna move my support here, and I'm just gonna position my skirmishers at a bit of a distance, because skirmishers have both melee and range attacks. And the beauty of this range attack from the Sunderer is that it has a chance to inflict thunder defense. And if that hits, it's gonna make the unit or the enemies a lot more susceptible to damage.
So we can see that it was
Resisted.
43% chance.
And it resisted.
It's a tough nut to crack, this giant.
Yeah, and I don't think it's gonna go any better, so I'm actually gonna move up closer, and I'm gonna use this overchannel ability. That's something that Wizard Kings have, or in this case a Wizard Queen, and that allows us to cast another spell this turn. And in this case, I'm just gonna use it to cast Vision of Victory. That's gonna allow us to basically stack critical hit chance.
Cool.
And then in this case, we're just gonna attack from a distance and see if we can freeze a couple more units. And that at least the freeze keeps hitting.
Yeah, they're good. They're good with the cold stuff.
So now we're just gonna dish out some damage, and then we're gonna let the enemies go ahead and smash. Oh, and as we saw there, we actually have hit chances. Ranged units have a 90% chance to hit, and this can go up and down. And if it misses, like we just saw, there's the chance that it hits a unit further in the back.
Was?
And melee
krass.
units, of course, always hits, but they might not hit as well as they could be. Oh, and another.
Oh.
Luckily, we resisted the burning. There aren't that many
Oh, die gehen außen rum.
shield warriors left. Is that going to be a problem?
It
Flanked.
definitely is, because in Age of Wonders 4, damage dealt is reduced if figures in a unit are gone. So as we see here, now we're only going to be able to do 8 damage on a 3-strike attack. That isn't great. So what we want to do is we want to actually heal, because the moment that you heal, you're going to gain more health, you're going to gain more figures,
Yeah, and we can see there's more of them now.
and
Hooray.
our damage has increased again. So
But
I want to...
there's also some problems in the back.
Yes, these Inferno puppies, I think. These are the puppies.
Ich finde es cool, dass der Health Bar oben im runden Kreis quasi mit drin ist.
And they're locking my Sunburst down from doing a range attack.
Exactly.
So I'm just gonna take them out, and that frees us up to do another javelin throw, in the hopes that it's gonna sunder the giant.
70%? Ja.
And it did. And it was a
right.
crit.
Very nice.
So the issue here is that sadly we don't have a line of sight on the giant. I'm gonna move my shamans a bit closer, and that still doesn't give us line of sight, but it gives us a better hit chance at hitting the Infernal Hounds, which are also poisoned as it seems. And I'm going to actually use Invigorate to just get our numbers up so that when we do attack, we have enough units or enough figures to dish out some good damage. And here we can see this would be quite a heavy retaliation. So instead, I'm just gonna take out these hounds, and then it's their turn again.
But not many units left for the Marauders at this point, or the Independents.
No. And
But the guys in the back,
Oh my
woken
God.
up. They're no longer frozen.
no, but they are fumbling.
Yes, they are.
That's a quirk of the new system. We have a much more in-depth morale system. If I look at these magma spirits over
Oh,
here,
krass. Moral.
as we can see, the morale is low because of their allies that have been killed, and also because there's only 2 units left in the entire battle. If this gets low enough, it can cause all the units on the battlefield to flee. So we're just gonna focus down. Actually, we're gonna cast another Vision of Victory, gonna get those crit chances up, and we're just going to trigger the retaliation on this dude, because obviously this unit can take it.
Because that's also our spawned-in units, right? That we cast a
It's-
spell to get
Ach so,
just before the battle started.
das sind die gecasteten
Now,
Einheiten.
if I'm right, we shouldn't do that, but we're gonna eat from underneath our friendly unit. And
Right, because these are cannibals. So they took their packed lunch that they didn't have, but they found some snacks on the ground, and now they're feeling a bit better.
Yeah, and again, that's something that helps us bring up our damage numbers. So for now, we're just gonna focus down the giant and really hope that it doesn't get too many other attacks in. So
Yeah.
we're gonna speed up combat a bit because it's going a bit slow.
I mean, the
You still don't
giant
have a line
is
of sight.
resisting a lot of things, but on the positive side, your crits do seem to be coming through, at least partially.
Ja, das ist doch fast tot.
Now, sadly, I completely forgot that these would be out of range, so I'm just gonna loop them around back. If I don't get confused by the Swedish keyboard.
It's the best keyboard. I don't know what you're talking about.
And then we're just gonna see if we can get to those magma spirits from the back.
Okay, and our spawned-in units are unfortunately down, and we don't have many warriors left. There's one brave one, but then again, they are a shield unit, so they're there to soak up damage, at least in part.
Yeah, so here we see that we are also not just gonna be able to kill them, but thanks to flanking, we do a lot more additional damage. So getting up close, and down goes the battle mage.
Now only the giant is left. Let's see if you can deal with him.
Yeah, this should be easy enough.
Oh, and
So I think this should be a kill shot. So let's get our queen to do it.
Bomb.
Jo,
And down
There
it
we go.
goes.
down it goes. Well played.
keine Einheit verloren.
Well done.
Great results.
Okay, and that was just an early combat that might have been slightly tweaked for effect, but well played all the same. But I wanted to get to, this is not the only way a combat in Age of Wonders 4 can look like, right? What are the other things that can happen, especially later on?
Probably the biggest change are the sieges. That brings an entire new dimension to battles.
Belagerung.
Super interesting. One of the things I'm really keen to know more about, though, is what are Ice Witch been doing for the last 60 turns?
Oh, yeah, let's take a look what he's been building. So here we are in the domain of Arctica the North Star, mid to late game. So
krass.
you see
Späterer
all this
Spielstand.
winter here, which is due to a spell that we've called, it's called Marching Winter, which,
Very nice.
Which turns everything into a winter wonderland. We have integrated our allies here, so they're not part of our own empire. We've annexed the Fortress of Woe, so that Ancient Wonder gives all its bonuses. Here we have a spreading invasion, so we should tackle that when we get to it. But more urgently, we have encountered an enemy who's
Die
launched
Frösche sind da.
assault to the south of our empire. Let's see who these guys are. Oh, toads. Ooh.
Do not like them.
We should freeze their swamps.
We should.
Yeah. So let's see who we have as an enemy. Clemens Shepherd, Seafaring Toadman. Oh, we should maybe freeze the water as well. We're gonna transform our people. Like, we have already cast a spell called the Frosting Transformation, which basically makes people dwell in cold domain and gain bonuses like higher morale in Arctic, immunity to being frozen, move faster through snow, which is really cool. But this is only a start. We need to do more if we want to get rid of those toads.
Of course. So with the ones we've used, the Frostling Transformation, we get icicles on the back of our units. Jordi, I'm sure there are other transformations. What are some of your favorite ones?
Well, the ones that are really impactful, those are the demon ones or the angel ones. They get flying, so you get cool wings,
okay.
and they look awesome.
Unfortunately, we're almost out of time. But before we leave, there are some things I do want to cover. One of the things we didn't have time to mention in-game was the Pantheon system. Jordi, what is it?
The Pantheon system is basically this overarching layer. That means that everything you do in-game feeds back into new unlocks for your characters, new realms to play, and this carries over even to your leaders. Some rulers that you've made and won a game with might show up again.
And sneakily, this
quasi
leads into
Spielstandübergreifend.
my few questions I had for you, Leonard, because I wanted to confirm some things that have always been core to the Age of Wonders experience. And one of those is replayability. With the Pantheon system, clearly that's there. But what more do we have to look forward to?
So yeah, there's many ways to play the game. We've got story missions, we've got standalone procedural maps, we have multiplayer, head-to-head multiplayer using simultaneous turns, as well as a cloud-based system where people you play your turn whenever it pleases you, and then you shoot the save up to the cloud for a friend to pick it up.
Play by Mail
So,
quasi.
yeah, it's
Ja,
keep
geil.
people busy for a very, very long time.
And especially with my favorite bit, which is the fact that the Empires I've already played and kind of like completed a playthrough with, they might show up in a future playthrough, which, because I generally play jerks, is not gonna look good for me.
You can turn that off too.
Yes.
Never.
Okay,
Not
das ist
turning
wie bei
it off.
Stellaris.
I'll just suffer through it.
Auch geil.
Guys, we're out of time, but before we go, first of all, massively thank you. I'm going to say that again in a bit. Before, though, you guys watching need to know that Age of Wonders 4 is coming out on May 2nd on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S. And if you want to know more, there should be links in the description or in the show notes. And most importantly, if you can, please wishlist the game right now. I'm sure there's going to be a link for it right now. Leonard, Jordi, thank you guys so much for coming to the Stage of Wonders to show off Age of Wonders 4.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Jetzt kommt nochmal der Trailer. Schauen wir uns den nochmal an. Da hat man kurz mal Belagerung gesehen. Ja, liebe Leute. Schön. Richtig gut. Hat mir echt gut gefallen. War wirklich spannend zu sehen. Muss ich mal sagen. Also, weil für mich, ist jetzt rein persönlich, was mich zum Beispiel jetzt an Planetfall, was mir da nicht so gefallen hatte, war der sehr starke Fokus auf diese Kampagne, die sie da erzählt haben. Das haben sie natürlich auch wieder, diesen Modus. Aber ich hatte irgendwie nicht das Gefühl, dass dieses Sandbox-Game, wie soll ich sagen, so richtig im Vordergrund stand. Und hier bei der Präsentation macht es ja den Eindruck, dass dass sie sich darauf jetzt sehr stark auch konzentriert haben. Durch diese freie Gestaltung der Rassen, durch dieses dynamische Eventsystem und durch dieses Übergreifende, dass die wieder auftauchen, die man selbst gestaltet hat und solche Geschichten. Sie haben da ganz offenbar ganz viel vom Erfolg der Paradox Games auch gelernt. Wird sicher auch eine gute Kampagne bei sein, ja. Definitiv. Aber so für einen dauerhaften Erfolg so eines Spiels, meines Erachtens, ist halt immer wichtig, wie gut ist die Sandbox. Weil die Kampagne hast du dann mal nach 20, 30 Stunden durchgespielt und dann will man eigentlich so ein Spiel nicht weglegen. Und dann muss halt die Sandbox gut sein. Und also das ist genau das, was ich mir von diesem Fantasy Stellaris, was ich immer gesagt habe, immer gewünscht habe. Das ist natürlich jetzt eine andere Game Engine und so weiter, aber dass du halt dir halt deine Fantasy-Rasse quasi selbst bauen kannst und mit den wildesten Kombinationen da deine eigene Geschichte schreiben kannst.